Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is HowFast. I want to tell you guys, I feel great today. Had last weekend off, and I appreciate you guys sticking around for that. I just feel refreshed. I've got a lot of energy, and we also got some really great news. I've been talking over the last couple months. You guys have heard me use the term milestone and major component, with regards to certain items that we need for the race car to make it drive forward. I'm sure you can tell by the name of the video and the thumbnail what I'm talking about. Today we're going to go pick up Dudgy's race transmission. It's a long way away. It's up in Milton, which is about 2.5–3 hours north of Dresden here. I'm really excited, and I'll tell you guys a bit about it on the way, and we'll meet the fellow named Justin up there who has the transmission, and when we get back, we're going to talk about what it's got in it and how it's going to help us reach our goal. So, long drive, a lot of driving today, at least 5 hours of driving to be done at minimum. So I'm going to jump in Judy, we're going to head on out, and I'll catch you guys on the road. Okay guys, so you know that we're going to get a transmission, and the way this all came about is, I was reading up on how, like, all the components that it's going to take to make our Powerglide transmission great. And I was talking to our engine builder, Randy, and we are talking about hardened input shafts and planetary gears, a number of clutches and trans brakes. A lot of components, a lot to learn about, and a lot of time that I put a little bit of time into, but it would be a lot nicer if we could find something that was already assembled. And Randy happened to have seen something on one of the Ontario drag race classifieds for a transmission that was for sale. This one. Now that transmission is up here in Milton, and we're not far now, so I'm going to catch up with you guys in a couple minutes when we arrive. Okay guys, here it is. Now the gentleman Justin that I got it off didn't really want to be on camera, but I don't blame him. This thing actually came off of a Mustang Fox body that was hooked up to a small block running on methanol, and it sounds like it's got all the parts and pieces that we're going to need. So I'd love to get into what it is that's actually inside this thing right now, but we got a long drive back to Dresden. So I'm going to strap this thing down, and when we get back, we'll talk about what's in the guts of this thing. Guys, we got it back. So let's talk about what this thing's built with. Okay guys, so let's talk about Powerglide transmissions. Powerglides have been came in cars for a very long time, and they're virtually unchanged over those many years that they were made. They're essentially a 2-speed automatic transmission with a reverse, and
they're perfect for our application because we're racing. We don't want to be shifting. We don't want to waste time. We want to just go forward as fast as we can. So here's a cut through of what a Powerglide transmission looks like. A couple of these items on here have been upgraded on our transmission. You can see this is our torque converter. This line here is our input shaft. These are the clutch pack, and this is the planetary gears. Now there are a couple other things on our transmission that have been upgraded, and we'll get to those in a minute, but I think those are the major ones that we need to talk about today. So let's take a look at it in more of a three-dimensional sense. And this might make it a bit easier for you guys to understand what we're looking at here. So this donut shape is our torque converter, and this has a specific stall on it, which is important for each application. We don't know if the one that we have with our transmission now is correct, but we'll find that out. I think there's going to be some, things we're going to have to do to our transmission to make it just right, but this is a great start for what we have. Now, I'd mentioned the input shaft, right? Now, the input shaft, that is a hardened piece of steel that is got gearing on both ends, and this basically takes the entire load of what is being pushed from the engine all the way through to the transmission. And this has been hardened on our transmission and is able to take a lot more force and hopefully will resist shearing as one of the stock units would. So at the back of the transmission, we have the planetary gear set. And this is really what is making all of the gearing possible within the engine. These have been upgraded. On top of that, we have a Powerglide race pump. We have a overhauled kit for our clutch pack. We have a billet servo piston with Teflon rings. We have a lightened forged steel clutch hub, a heavy-duty reverse spring and retainer kit, and a high-strength band adjuster. And on top of all of that, a 2-inch deep aluminum pan. So that's going to allow us to keep even more fluid in the transmission, and it's going to allow the transmission to stay cooler. Finally, what we have is an SFI shield, which is going to protect my legs. God forbid something terrible happens and this thing shears some bolts on the flywheel and throws the flywheel through the wall. This should protect my legs. And last but not least, a trans brake. So this car is equipped with a trans brake. Now we have a solenoid in the transmission that will essentially lock the transmission in gear and reverse. And when I let off this switch, well, you know what happens.
So guys, now we have the new transmission for Dudgy. I'm super excited about that. Again, like I said, you guys have heard me say before, it's a major component. There are a couple major components. This is a big one. This is a really big one. And really, there's only a couple left, so we're just going to keep knocking those off the list. Next week, I'm going to pull, I don't know if it'll be next week or in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to pull Dudgy out and we're going to finish weld the motor mounts and the transmission cross member in with the 220 stick. But before we do that, we're going to hook this new transmission. Even though it is a Powerglide, it shouldn't bolt up exactly where the last one did. We're going to double check it before we go and we finish burning all that stuff in. So right now we're going to do HowFast trivia for last week. Now actually technically it was 2 weeks ago because I took a week off. But a lot of you guys got it, and I really appreciate you guys putting your comments. I got a couple people who commented who usually don't comment, so I appreciate that, guys. I love hearing from you. So last week's question was, which 1985 film gave a starring role to a DeLorean car? Your options were A, Pretty in Pink, B, Back to the Future, C, The Breakfast Club, or D, Mad Max. And the correct answer was B, Back to the Future. And like I said, a couple of you guys got it, so I appreciate you guys leaving your comments. This week's question: what is the best-selling car of all time worldwide? Your options are A, the Toyota Corolla, B, the Ford Fiesta, C, the Volkswagen Golf, or is it D, BMW 3 Series? I look forward to hearing you guys' comments and questions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Catch up with me on Instagram at how__fast. You can check me out on TikTok, or you can follow us on Facebook because that's where most of the updates happen. I'll catch up with you guys next time. Find out how fast we can make this car go.